I thought I had finally found the one after 2 failed relationships. Then my past came back to destroy everything. I'm 34F, and honestly, I never imagined my life would turn into the kind of relationship drama people binge read online at 2 a.m., but here we are. This is probably going to be long, but I need to get it out somewhere, because I genuinely don't know if I ruined the best thing that ever happened to me. For context, I've been through 3 serious relationships in my adult life. The first one almost destroyed my self-worth. The second one destroyed my ability to trust. And the third was supposed to be my happy ending. Or at least I thought so. My first relationship started when I was 19. His name was Caleb. He was older than me by 6 years, confident, charming, and the kind of guy everyone naturally gravitated toward. When we met, I thought I had won the lottery. At first, he treated me like I was the center of the universe. Flowers at work. Long messages. Random weekend trips. That kind of love people romanticize when they are young. But slowly, things changed. He became controlling in ways that were subtle enough that I didn't notice immediately. He criticized my clothes, my friends, the way I talked, the way I laughed. Eventually I stopped going out without him because it was easier than arguing. Then came the cheating. Ironically, I found out completely by accident. A girl messaged me on Facebook asking how long Caleb and I had been together. Turns out he'd been dating both of us for almost a year. And not just her. Multiple women. When I confronted him, he somehow made himself the victim. Said I was emotionally unavailable. That maybe if I'd paid more attention to him, he wouldn't have looked elsewhere. And the worst part? For a while, I believed him. That relationship lasted almost 4 years before I finally left. By the end of it, I barely recognized myself anymore. After Caleb, I stayed single for nearly 2 years. Then came Marcus. And honestly, Marcus felt like healing. He was calm where Caleb was chaotic. Patient where Caleb was manipulative. He listened to me. Remembered small things about me. Made me feel emotionally safe for the first time in years. We dated for 3 years. Moved in together after 1. And for a long time, I genuinely thought I would marry him. But life gets complicated. Around our 2nd year together, Marcus lost his father unexpectedly. Something inside him changed after that. He became distant. Withdrawn. Emotionally unreachable. I tried everything to support him. Therapy suggestions. Space. Patience. Late-night conversations. Nothing seemed to help. Eventually he started drinking heavily. Not violent or abusive, just numb. Like he stopped caring about life entirely. One night I came home and found him sitting alone in the dark living room drinking whiskey straight from the bottle. I asked him what was wrong. And he said something I'll never forget. I don't think I know how to love people anymore. That sentence broke my heart more than yelling ever could. For another year, I kept trying to save the relationship by myself. But you can't force someone to heal if they don't want to. Eventually Marcus ended things. Not because he stopped loving me, but because he said he was dragging me into his darkness. I cried for months after that breakup, Because unlike Caleb, Marcus wasn't cruel. Sometimes good people still break your heart. After Marcus, I genuinely gave up on love for a while. I focused on work. And everything changed. We met in the most boring way possible, through work. He was quiet at first. Funny in a dry, sarcastic way. Not overly charming. Not trying too hard. And weirdly, that made me trust him more. Daniel felt safe immediately. No games. No emotional chaos. No manipulation. Being with him felt peaceful in a way I didn't know relationships could feel. We started dating slowly. Very slowly. Probably because both of us had baggage. But eventually I fell completely in love with him. And for the first time in my life, love didn't feel exhausting. It felt easy. About a year into our relationship, Daniel proposed during a weekend trip to the mountains. Nothing extravagant. No giant public moment. Just the two of us sitting under the stars beside a cabin. I said yes before he even finished asking. Honestly, those were probably the happiest months of my entire life. Until Caleb came back. Out of nowhere. One random Instagram message. "Hey. Been thinking about you lately." The second I saw his name, my stomach dropped. I should have blocked him immediately. I know that now. But curiosity is dangerous. I responded. At first it seemed harmless. Small talk. Catching up. Then he started apologizing for how he treated me years ago. Said he'd changed. Started therapy. Realized how badly he hurt me. And stupidly, part of me wanted closure. I never told Daniel because honestly, I thought it was insignificant. That was my first mistake. Then Caleb started messaging more often. Not flirting exactly. Just emotionally intense conversations. Talking about regrets. Memories. What if scenarios. And slowly, without realizing it, I became emotionally invested again. Not romantically. At least I don't think so. But definitely emotionally. One night Daniel noticed me smiling at my phone. He casually asked who I was talking to. And for some reason, I lied. I said it was a coworker. The second the lie left my mouth, I felt sick. Because Daniel had never given me a reason to lie about anything. But after that, everything spiraled fast. A few weeks later, Daniel borrowed my laptop to print something while I was showering. And Caleb's messages popped up. I still remember the look on Daniel's face when I walked into the room. Not anger. Not yelling. Just disappointment. Honestly, I wish he'd screamed at me instead. Because disappointment feels colder. He asked one question. Were you going to tell me? And I didn't know how to answer. Because the truth was complicated. Nothing physical happened. I never cheated physically. But emotionally. Maybe I did. Daniel asked to see the messages. I let him. And honestly, reading them back myself made me realize how bad it looked. There were messages about old memories. About how different my life might have been. About unresolved feelings. One message from Caleb said, I still think we would have ended up together if timing had been different. And instead of shutting it down, I'd responded. Maybe. That single word destroyed my relationship. Daniel didn't yell. Didn't insult me. Didn't even cry. He just quietly said, "I thought what we had was real." Then he left for his brother's house. I barely slept for days. I called him constantly. Sent paragraphs apologizing. That I never wanted Caleb back. That I loved Daniel. But once trust cracks, explanations start sounding meaningless. 2 weeks later, Daniel officially ended the engagement. And honestly, I deserved it. That's the hardest part. I didn't lose him because of one mistake. I lost him because I failed to protect the relationship when it mattered most. That was 8 months ago. And I still think about him every single day. Update 1. I didn't expect this post to blow up the way it did. A lot of people, but I wanted to answer the main question everyone keeps asking. No, I'm not talking to Caleb anymore. The day Daniel ended things, I blocked Caleb on everything. Because losing Daniel forced me to realize something painful. I never actually wanted Caleb back. I wanted validation from someone who once destroyed my self-esteem. There's a difference. I started therapy again after the breakup, and my therapist pointed out something that honestly changed my perspective completely. She said, "Sometimes people revisit old pain because it feels emotionally familiar, not because it's healthy." And that hit me hard. Daniel represented stability, honesty, and emotional safety. But Caleb represented unresolved wounds. And instead of protecting the healthy relationship, I entertained the unhealthy one because some broken part of me still needed closure. That's not an excuse. Just the truth. I still haven't heard from Daniel directly. But his sister did message me once. She said he was devastated. Reading that honestly made me physically sick. Because I never wanted to become the kind of person who hurts someone good. Update 2. Something happened last night. After 8 months of silence, Daniel called me. I almost didn't answer because I thought I was imagining it. We talked for nearly 3 hours. Mostly about everything that happened. He told me the hardest part wasn't even Caleb. It was the lying. The feeling that the relationship stopped being emotionally safe. And honestly, hearing him say that hurt because he was right. But then something unexpected happened. He admitted he still loved me. And apparently, I started crying immediately because I still love him too. But we agreed to start slowly. Therapy individually first. Then maybe couples counseling later. Daniel said something before hanging up that I haven't stopped thinking about. Sometimes love survives mistakes. But only if both people are willing to rebuild honestly. For the first time in almost a year, I feel hopeful again.